Hello everybody, Jonathan Rayo here with Simplified Guitar, and in this lesson I want to teach you how to play the song Blessings by Laura Story. As always, I'm going to play through the song for you first, and then afterwards I'll break it down and explain it to you in more detail, so make sure to stick around for that. For now, let's go ahead and get started playing through the song.
We pray for blessings, we pray for peace, comfort for family, protection while we sleep. We pray for healing, for prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering. All the while you hear each spoken need, yet love us way too much to give us lesser things. What if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if the 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? We pray for wisdom, your voice to hear. We cry in anger when we cannot feel you near. We doubt your goodness, we doubt your love, as if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, long that we'd have faith to believe. What if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if the 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know the pain reminds this heart, this is not our home. What if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes
All right, so for this song, we're going to be using 6 chords from the G chord family, and I'm going to be playing with my capo on the 3rd fret. So I'm actually going to be in the key of A sharp or B flat, even though I'm using the G chord family chords. So the first chord we're going to have is a C add 9 chord, and for that C add 9 chord, I don't want to play that low E string, so I'm just going to let my thumb touch it and mute it while I'm strumming. This is a great C alternative within the G chord family because, as you can see, this is our G chord that we're going to go to later. This is a very similar shape from this C add 9 to the G, as opposed to going from this C to the G, where the entire position of your hand has to change. So this chord is chosen because it makes transitioning so much easier within this family. We're also going to have a D over F sharp, and for that D over F sharp, from that C add 9, I'm going to take my first finger and move it up 2 strings, keeping it on the 2nd fret, and then I'm going to take my second finger and move it down to the 2nd fret of the G string, and that is going to be my D over F sharp chord. And for this one, I can strum all 6 strings. We're also going to have an E minor 7 chord, and to play that from that D over F sharp, I'm just going to take these 2 fingers and bring them together, still on the 2nd fret. So my first finger is going to come down a string, second finger is going to go up a string, and that's my E minor 7. And again, for this chord, I'm going to play all 6 strings. We're also going to be playing a B minor 7 chord, and for that one, if I'm here on my E minor 7, all I'm going to do is take my second finger and move it down a string, and that's it. So this is my B minor 7, but this one is a bit tricky because we want to mute the D string. With the D string, we do not want to hear it resonating. So in order to do that, because it's in the middle of, notes that I'm pressing down, I can't just skip strumming it. I can't strum this and then not strum the D string and then strum the bottom 3 strings. It's going to be impossible to do that. So I have to mute this string, and in order to do that, I'm going to let my first finger, while it's pressing down on the 2nd fret of the A string, I'm going to kind of let it lay down across that D string so that the pad of my first finger is touching that D string and muting it. But I'm going to just bend my finger in such a way that it's muting that D string. Typically you want to avoid doing this, and usually you do this on accident, but we want to do it on purpose in this case. And we want to start our strumming on that A string and avoid the low E string and that D string. Okay, so both of these strings, the low E and the D string, should be muted. I can mute my E string with my thumb and mute my D string with my first finger. This is one of those chords that when you strum it really slow, when you're practicing it and strumming it out 1 string at a time, it doesn't really sound that great. There's a lot of chords actually that do that, but this is one of them, especially blues chords and things. But it sounds really good in progression with the other chords within the family that it belongs to. So don't freak out if it doesn't sound good when you're doing practice, just this chord by itself really slow. We're also going to have an A minor 7, and to play that one, I'm going to put my first finger on the 1st fret of the B string, second finger, 2nd fret of the D string, and I'm going to, the pinky is optional, but you can either just do like this, and this is fine, and you're just going to strum from the A string down. You can also let your pinky press down on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And though this makes for a slightly more complicated chord because I'm adding an extra finger, it will make transitioning easier within the G chord family. Because that's one less finger I have to think about, this finger is going to stay there throughout the entire song. It's going to stay on that 3rd fret. If I'm going from A minor back to G, my pinky's already down, kind of like a little anchor. If I'm going from A minor to C add 9, my pinky's already down. If I'm going from A minor to E minor, my pinky's already down. So, having that pinky, using that pinky in the A minor 7 will allow you to think about one less finger when you're transitioning to the A minor 7 and from the A minor 7. And last of all, we have the G chord. So the G chord is going to look like this. We've got our first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, second finger, 3rd fret of the low E string here. And then our 3rd and 4th finger are going to be on the 3rd fret of the B and high E string. And in this case, I'm going to strum all 6 strings for this chord. For strumming, we're going to be using the driving pattern, which is a nice simple 4-beat strum pattern. We're going to have 4 down strums and then an up strum added after beat 4, and then we're going to repeat. We want to make sure to put our emphasis on beat 1 and 3, so that's every other beat. We want to strum harder, and we want to strum nice and soft on beat 2 and 4. Sometimes we can even not strum at all on beat 2 and keep your hand moving in the rhythm, but just don't hit the strings. Either hit them very lightly or not at all. Especially for slower songs like this, it just helps to add a little bit of dynamics to the song. So I'm just going to hold the G chord and I'm going to play that strum pattern slowly so that you can hear what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 1. Now this song has a lot of chords that are only lasting for half a measure. And when a chord is lasting for only half a measure, that means we're going to switch from that chord before we're done with the strum pattern. So in this case, our strum pattern, the driving pattern, is 4 beats long. That strum pattern is 1 measure. Those 4 beats make up 1 measure. So if a chord is going to last for half of a measure, that means the chord's going to last for 2 beats. And then I need to switch to the next chord for the next 2 beats. Okay? And usually after that, those 2 beats, I need to switch to another chord. And that's what happens in this song for the verse. So on that verse, we have C add 9, D over F sharp, and then E minor. The first 2 chords, C add 9, D over F sharp, both of those are each going to last a half a measure, making 1 total measure for both chords. So C add 9 is going to be for 2 beats. D over F sharp is going to be for 2 beats. So together, they're going to last for 1 measure. C add 9 and D over F sharp for 1 measure. And then from there, we're going to switch to the E minor 7, and the E minor 7 will last for 1 whole measure. So I'm going to play that little progression, C add 9, D over F sharp, E minor 7, and I'm going to count out the beats so that you can see more clearly where the transition is happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So just be very careful for those chords that only last for half a measure. If you need to, you can practice it like that, where you're counting out the beats and you're doing those transitions very, very slowly so that your mind can start to wrap itself around the concept of those half measure chords. All right, I hope you found this lesson useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next lesson. Take care.